Moonshiners, Master Distiller, judges on how the show has gone from a bit of a joke to serious competition when Moonshiners. Master Distiller first appeared on television. It had a somewhat skeptical reception. The idea of a reality competition show centered around moonshining, illegal, bootleg distilling of alcohol, seemed almost too bizarre, a stunt designed to entertain rather than inform. But now, as the show moves into its 5th season, it has grown from a quirky novelty into one of the most exciting and respected series in the realm of distilling. The stakes are higher, the contestants more skilled, and the judges themselves are looking at the show with a sense of pride. In this exclusive behind-the-scenes look, the judges of Moonshiners, Master Distiller reflect on the evolution of the show, discussing how it has gone from what they call a bit of a joke to a serious competition that attracts some of the finest distillers from across the country. The humble beginnings and Moonshiners. Master Distiller first aired on Discovery Channel. Many expected it to be more of a novelty show. The concept was simple enough. A group of contestants would battle it out to prove their distilling prowess, making moonshine using traditional methods. But at first, it was a hard sell to both the audience and the contestants themselves. Tim Smith, one of the most well-known moonshiners and a key judge on the show, recalls how the initial reactions were filled with skepticism. We knew we were working with something special, but let's face it, moonshining has a long history of being looked at as a joke in mainstream culture. People thought we were just putting on a show for laughs. Tim says, leaning back in his chair during an interview at the show's production studio. The reality is, it's a craft. A really serious craft. And over time, that's what the world has come to understand. The first few seasons featured contestants who were relatively new to the world of legal distilling. Many were self-taught or had little experience beyond running a small-scale, illegal operation for personal or local use. While there was a certain charm in watching these amateurs fumble through their distilling trials, the judges knew the show had more potential than it was initially showing. If you watch the first season, you can tell people were still figuring it out, says Mark Ramsey, another judge and a veteran distiller. Some of it was rough. There was a lot of trial and error, a lot of laughs. It was a different vibe. But that's how the craft evolves. You have to go through the rough stages before you find what really works. A growing respect for the crafters, the seasons progressed. Something significant began to happen. The caliber of contestants began to improve. There was no longer a reliance on individuals who were just dabbling in moonshine for the sake of a TV appearance. Instead, the show started attracting real professionals, people who had deep knowledge of both the history and the technical side of distilling. We've seen the craft grow, and so have the people competing, says Jeremy Schwartz, another judge and a distiller with years of experience in the commercial side of the business. The industry has changed, and people are taking it more seriously. They want to show the world they can make a legal product that is just as good, or better, than the stuff they were making illegally. And that's what we're here to judge. The skill, the quality, and the craft. One of the key developments in the show's evolution was the increasing emphasis on the technical aspects of distilling. Earlier seasons had a more relaxed approach, allowing contestants to get by with a certain level of shoddiness in their methods. But with the growing respect for the art of distilling, the stakes were raised. We started seeing people who actually had training, Mark explains. They weren't just people who had a still in their backyard. They were people who knew how to create a product with consistency, using the best ingredients. And as that happens, the whole show changes. It's no longer just about whether someone can make moonshine. It's about whether they can create a high-quality product that stands up to the standards of professional distillers. From quirky to competitive by the time the 3rd season arrived, Moonshiners. Master Distiller had firmly established itself as a show that demanded not only distilling skill, but also innovation, creativity, and the ability to work under pressure. The show's transformation from a bit of a joke to a legitimate competition was palpable. What I think is interesting is how the competition aspect has really become the focal point, Tim shares. In the early seasons, we were more focused on the personalities, the fun, the drama, and that worked for a while. But as we brought in more serious distillers, we realized the talent level was so high that we needed to shift the focus. Now when someone wins, they're a master distiller. That's a big deal. The introduction of more formalized challenges helped too. Gone were the days of just make some moonshine and see what happens. Contestants were now asked to demonstrate technical skills, ranging from blending flavors to perfecting the distillation process to creating innovative new recipes. For the judges, this added a level of complexity to their decisions. Each challenge is an opportunity for the contestants to show us what they're made of, says Jeremy. They have to think about everything. Flavor profile, the ingredients, the way the still works, the time it takes to distill. It's science, it's art, and it's craftsmanship all rolled into one. Raising the bar as Moonshiners. Master Distiller continued to evolve. So did the stakes. Contestants now have to be highly prepared for everything, from the technical elements of distillation to the creative demands of the show. They no longer simply have to make moonshine. They have to make the best moonshine. We've really seen the contestants mature, Tim explains. They come into the competition knowing they're going to be pushed to the limit. They don't take it lightly. They know they have to bring something special to the table every time. That makes it so much more fun for us as judges. And the bar for what qualifies as good has risen significantly. With the continued development of craft distilleries across the country and the growing popularity of spirits made using traditional methods, the expectations on the contestants have never been higher. There's so much to consider now, Mark says. People are experimenting with new ingredients, different grains, even going back to old techniques that were almost forgotten. The level of innovation is amazing, and that's something we really encourage. The evolution of moonshiners. Master Distiller has mirrored the growth of the moonshine industry itself. Where once there was a stigma attached to homemade alcohol, today there is a growing appreciation for high-quality, handcrafted spirits made with care and precision. The show has become a platform for showcasing that talent, while helping to shed light on the complexities of distilling that many people are still unaware of. A new era for the show as the judges look ahead to future seasons of Moonshiners. Master Distiller, they are filled with anticipation about the show's potential. What started as a fun experiment has now evolved into a respected competition that shines a spotlight on one of the oldest forms of craftsmanship in America. We're at a point where the show can really shine a light on these distillers who have dedicated their lives to perfecting their craft, says Jeremy. It's about the work, the process, and the dedication. We're seeing people push themselves to new heights, and that's inspiring. And while there's always room for a little fun, it's clear that the judges see Moonshiners, Master Distiller, as something much more than entertainment. It's a celebration of artistry, a reminder of the deep history behind the craft, and a showcase of some of the finest distillers in the country today. In the end, the competition may have started as a bit of a joke, but it has certainly earned its place in the serious world of spirits. As Tim puts it, we're not just making moonshine anymore. We're making history. The art of moonshining, which once thrived in secrecy and shadow, is now under the spotlight of national television. Discovery Channel's Moonshiners. Master Distiller has elevated the craft of illegal distilling from something whispered about in the Appalachian Hills to a multi-million-dollar industry and a serious competition on primetime TV. What began as a show with a reputation for light-hearted antics and entertaining escapades has transformed into a platform for skilled distillers vying for the title of Master Distiller. Judges from the show, who are experts in the craft of distilling, have watched this shift firsthand. From a time when the idea of moonshining was more of a joke, the show has evolved into a space where true craftsmanship, intense competition, and innovation are at the forefront. It's now a serious challenge for distillers, who push their limits in a bid to prove that they are the best in the business. The birth of Moonshiners and the shift to Master Distiller when Moonshiners first premiered in 2011. The concept was simple. Follow a group of outlaw distillers as they risked their livelihoods to create illegal liquor, often called shine, in the Appalachian Mountains. The show was a wild ride of covert operations, characters with colorful personalities, and plenty of moonshine mishaps. It painted moonshining as an almost rebellious tradition, often laden with comedic antics and exaggerated moments. The show was undoubtedly popular and quickly gained a loyal following. However, it didn't always command the respect it now enjoys. Many viewed it as a fun diversion.